was just thinking earlier, it's my journey in general. Praying and asking God to give me clarity, give me a sense of direction. And to be quite honest, even though I feel sometimes like I'm not gaining any progress or anything, I know I have a clear sense of direction. I can feel a more stronger connection with my higher self, building it more and more each and every day. The worst thing to do is to stop and just fall into my old habits and become lazy and just pleasure seek. My ultimate goal would be, to have a strong connection within myself and God. I think I've been doing my best to build towards that, but I think I've come to the realization that it never stops, never ends. You just can keep improving and getting stronger in all the facets of life, and even transcending all the aspects in your life, awakening more to the truth and the realization of what our purpose is here on this earth, on this planet, in this realm. And that's just to transcend, to keep moving higher, to keep gaining a stronger connection within yourself, the universe, God. So, to be honest, I have an idea for a video to share with people. I love fitness, and I love doing it, but it's more than just that. I don't want to just be like a fitness influencer. I don't want to just be focusing on that. It's all aspects: fitness, health, mentally, your mental state of mind, mindset, all these things. Merging these all aspects of my life, merging it all together and making stronger connections within themselves. Again, your health, your wealth, relationships, and, practicing true happiness. It's not how much material wealth you have, but that makes you happy. It's the intangible things that make you happy, like your spirituality, the relationship you have with yourself, self-love, accepting who you really are with all the faults, and imperfections, insecurities that we all have. Realizing that you have a purpose and value, and just to keep giving that and teaching people through your experiences, being able to teach and help others. So the video idea is just about coming off like that, just coming off and not specifically talking about how to do this exercise or how to do this meditation. Just teach people how this all of it comes together to create a well-rounded and well-balanced life. What I do in jiu-jitsu, how it helps me in the rest of my life, or what I do in the gym, lifting weights, resistance training, how that all helps me in the rest of my life, how that helps me in my relationships with my family, with my friends, co-workers, stuff like that, how it all helps me financially in my personal finances. Prayer is a tool. That's a topic that just popped up into my mind right now. prayer is a tool. Everybody, I think people's reactions would be mixed because prayer is considered sacred, right? And by labeling it a tool, I feel people would think like if I'm downgrading it or something like that. But I mean, it's just a technical term. It has nothing to do with its quality or availability to people. So use prayer as a tool. Use it as your guide, right? It's another form of saying it, like what comes up to my mind right now. Measure twice, cut once, right? Things that will you will always have the best answer by taking your time, thinking through things, studying, reading, writing, and then come forward and make a proposal, so on and so forth. Use prayer as your guide. That's a guide, like a ruler is a guide, and that's considered a tool. Pencil, hammer, all tools we use. So I wouldn't think that as a technical term it should offend anything or anybody by saying use prayer as a tool. It's just my thought, how I feel. I could be wrong, I could be right, I could be neither. It would just be just what it is. It becomes paradoxical at that point. It's not one or the other, and it's also both at the same time. Life is a paradox. There are no wrongs, there are no rights, really. It's just when we label them and perceive them as is. But sometimes, the universe plays certain situations out for the well-being of the chaos, maintain chaos, to learn how to control chaos. Martial arts is a way of controlling chaos. Sports in general is a way of controlling chaos. But football, that's a chaotic game. That's a really violent game. But it's controlled, is in a controlled, setting, backdrop, all the teams, players, and everything, the stories behind that. But it's pretty much made up. It's constructed and put together for the purpose of the game, the sport, and all that. When you think about it that way, life itself is all made up. We're making it up as we go, but it's not us that's making it up as we go. It's God that's making it up as He goes through us. So when you understand pretty much how it actually works, it's like, yeah, you have free will, but you don't have free will. I get that part, because that's why that's where prayer comes in. That's the channel in which you use to get connected to your higher self, to tell you, give you the answers, through thoughts, intuition, and emotions, and many other things I could only think of. I can't think of any more right now, but you get the picture. And suddenly you start to see that you are the avatar of your higher self. And, as you go within and ask questions, quote unquote prayer, also use it for gratitude, and forgiveness, for a lot of things, for everything, patience. You pray for all these things, but that's the channel you go through. When you rely on the mind pretty much is what you identify with as when you worry, when you fear, as when you fear and you doubt, that's your ego. And that's there to protect you. But it can get out of control and overcome you. That happens when you attach yourself to it, to its identity. But when you start to just like, it doesn't mean, when you start to realize these things, doesn't mean you stop to feel them. All it means is that you're aware that this is all just, manifested for you to experience it. And by you experiencing it, you learn for what you need to know to get to the next level, whether it's in the current reality or the next one. Pretty much what I've learned, what I've experienced. And you study these things, and it's non-stop. It never stops. So you just keep on transcending and leveling up. You just keep on awakening. You just keep on going forward. Like, if you think really this is the only life, you're pretty much stuck in that trap that you come. And usually it's like people that still haven't learned their lessons, people that are young, still like learning, and like pretty much, let's say right now, as cosmic beings, to describe it like that, we're crawling. We're not even walking. So you start to just like break it all down, like put it all together, build it, break it all down again, build in something else. You do it every day. You use your imagination every single day. You create worlds through your thoughts and possibilities. But doesn't mean that it's gonna happen. It just means that it's possible because you thought of it. And then you ever been, watching something or hearing something, and then you say, "Oh, but I should have thought of that, or I thought of that before. Why didn't I think of that?" Or something like that. That's because we're all interconnected. When you start experiencing and seeing these things for yourself and start to just pull back from your current situation and identity, you just like really just pretend like you're watching a movie. When you're watching a movie, you get emotional, you get attached, but then at the end of it, it was just a movie, right? It's not real. It's constructed, and imaginary. That's it. And then played out by people. So, and that's how life is. This is all just, you ever put two mirrors together and you see the non-stop, you can't see the end of like the reflection. That's why. There's no end to this. You just keep on leveling up. You just keep on moving and moving and moving and grooving and growing and growing and growing and growing. That's the story of Jesus. Where he comes, he's already elevated. But he comes to teach us how to get to that point. It's in every story we know. Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, right? Jehovah. All these names and labels that we put to it. It's all different stories if you see it. It's like movies, and they play it out. They play them out in books, essays, videos, film, right? It's all documented, constructed, also destructed and made up. You don't know what's what. You don't know what's true or not. That's why it's just easier to forget all that and just go within. Just like when you go you don't even realize you're doing it. But every day you're praying. Every day you're talking to yourself. Every day you're having conversations with yourself. The thoughts, everything, the thought cycles. And you don't realize it. But when you start directing it through the right channel, you channel it. That's why they call it channeling energy, tongue tied. Channeling that energy through a certain, let's say, vibration or channel, like, channel 1, channel 2. Yeah. With many labels, many ways, and probably many ways to execute too, right? The transfer of energy and all that. So you channeling, when you channel that energy into positivity, and most importantly, creativity, you start to create, because we all are here to create. We are all creators. We are part of a creator. The creator is us. We are the creator. When we have children, those are our creations. Multiply. You keep on passing down your legacy. You pay forward your energy. And you pass it down. You pass down that energy, that legacy, to the next generation, the next iterations of you and your legacy. You have a far, long beyond your wildest dreams and imagination of ancestry behind you. And just it's okay to delve into it, but you get obsessed about that. Yeah, that's another trip. Disidentify, really disconnect, really try to just not let shit get to you. That's real talk. Like, that's, I'm just gonna say it to simplify everything. Just don't let shit get to you. People call you, put you down, no matter, have sympathy for them. That's the best way, and you avoid a lot of conversation. And another thing, you know what else gives you, I said it before earlier, what else gives you like that faith and belief? Simply fitness. No matter what fitness, doesn't matter martial. But for me right now, the ultimate one right now is more martial arts. The down data of individuals for anybody to do. No matter if you're pro, no matter if you're amateur, anybody doing it, you're gonna benefit 10 times. I really, honestly, I know, like, I'm not rich and I don't have all the money in the world, and I'm in debt. But honestly, like, I know it's not about the money, and you don't need money to be successful. There's many examples of that, in however way possible you can think of. So remember that wherever you are right now in life, that is your riches. That is your wealth. That is what you are worth. And don't think like, because you might be like not having certain things or this or that, the other, that marks you as good or bad or whatnot. No. What marks you as a great, no matter what, it's humility. Not forgetting who you are and what you are part of. That you're something greater, you're part of something greater and bigger. Just remember that. With that simple way of being, you don't need much. You always have abundance of everything. No matter how it looks. No matter how it looks, trust me. I've seen every which way you can possibly live. Not every which way, but I've seen, my family comes from a poor family, poor background. Like, they were dirt poor. Then they had shit to their name. And they had to earn every dollar. Like, with their blood, sweat, and tears, for real. And then it wasn't about like, oh, magical this, manifesting that. Like, it is and it isn't. You still have to do. You still have to give yourself up to the cause. Everybody has to put their little grain into the cause. Remember that. You're nobody's excuse from working, from doing God's bidding, servicing others, being kind, being gentle and loving, and sincere, humble, noble, and fearless. Not a punk, not no bitch, but respectable human being. And everybody has a dark side, so don't get it twisted. Don't think like, oh, you see priests and all that, they don't have like, like dark sides. They do. They all do. That's why they became that. That's why they opted to do the opposite, because they knew that being caught up in some dark shit would cause them much pain, and they already experienced that pain, and that's why they transform and they change and they do what's right, because they found it through prayer, through that tool I was talking about earlier. So remember that. Don't think like this world is like there's perfect people. There's no perfect person in this world, man. That's why I always say perfection is imperfection. Imperfection is perfection. It's either you see a beautiful sculpture, a beautiful woman, and you say, wow, she's perfect. Yeah, like in our eyes, how we perceive it, yeah, that sculpture and everything, but other people can see it differently too. And it don't matter, because that's what makes this the ultimate game to play, the ultimate experience to have as a cosmic being is this right here. So just accept it, like, yes, it is and it isn't and all that crap, but just play along, like do your best. You already know behind you, be good, be kind, like I said, be humble and all those things. As long as you do all those things and forgive yourself too, you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna like have a misstep 1 or 2 times in your life before you realize who you truly are. So we all have to go through these experiences and trials and challenges. You gotta be thankful for it. You gotta be really humble about it and kneel down and say, God, I am your willing servant. I am humbled by you and your power. So you tell me what's up. And I appreciate and grateful for your love. And you have to give that likewise to others outside of you, who you perceive that surround you. It's a long video. I think I got my point across. And I really do believe in what I've just said. And this what makes my brand of who I am. And like it or not, the way I'm in fitness, and I'm not no typical like 6-pack, but I train every day. You can see me, I sweat. Like, you can see how it was before. Check me out. Now I got the proof on Instagram. I have everything, all documented. And you tell me, I was a fat motherfucker. Like compared to what I am and I'm doing now, I'm fit. I'm with it. Come see me. If you want a question, see me. I always invite people to come and train with me, come and, do what I do. Like, I'm not no expert, but I've been in the game for a long time. I've been doing a lot of athletics, playing ball at school all the time. At home, I didn't even have a basketball hoop in my garage. I would put the garage door up and I would pretend. I would practice my layups. I got witnesses. Soccer, I had those bins that we used to have in San Francisco, the recyclable ones that they started for the newspaper and all that to start recycling. That's when they started with their recycling program. I remember when I was in elementary school, 94, World Cup. I was in 25 Anza Vista, fucking playing outside in the garage. I'm telling you, I grew up good. I didn't grow up poor. I grew up middle class, but my mama took care of a lady, that was disabled. And we lived there with her. We would live, with my parents. And thank God for that lady, Mrs. Snyder. We always remember her. She was a part of our family. She's, we were there She knew us more than she knew her own family. So, but to tell you, in that era, in that year, like, I fell in love with soccer. My family was deep into soccer, but that was the year I really fell in love with that sport. And I always wanted to do karate. I always never got to do it, and now I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I could just always remember in that garage what I lived through, my best years. I had little dark, moments too, and, my childhood, my parents and everything like that, but who doesn't, you don't need to know. So that's our family history, and that's it. Everybody has it in their family history, dark sides. If it's not them personally, they know somebody, a brother, or uncle, or something. So, so now that, I'm training, I'm also training Muay Thai. I started that a couple months ago, and I love it. I actually like it a little bit more than jiu-jitsu because it's stand-up, and, it's a good cardio, good flexibility thing to do. And you learn self-defense. You learn how to defend yourself. I believe, like, the best, if you're gonna want to learn something to how to defend yourself, do a striking and a grappling thing together, and boom, you got you. Nobody gonna fuck with you, bro. Like, I'm not condoning no violence, and if you want to be about that, go compete. Do it like an athlete. Be an athlete. Become an athlete and do it like an athlete, bro. That's the best way you can, harness that energy.